Simpsons Index, an online spreadsheet that is also a podcast. This is the podcast.
Coming to you out of SideQuest Studios, this is the Simpsons Index, episode 266.
Jesus.
Yeah, been a few of them. Hello out there, I'm your host, Elliot Jay O'Neill, joined here as always, except when he's not, by PT Calloway.
What's up, B-boys and fly girls?
Put your hands in the air and wave them like you're not that bothered by it at all. For our other guest, Philip Wolf.
No one's bothered by me. I am the perfect guest.
This hand waving isn't bothering me in the slightest.
It's technically like waving. That's more of a bop.
He's right, people. That's how little it was bothering me.
Yeah, we review Simpsons.
If you didn't get it from the intro, immediately derailed.
Yeah, as we're fast approaching 700 episode reviews, yeah, we're nearing catching up to the series, which is wild.
It hurts the brain.
I wonder if they know and they're feeling the pressure.
Oh no, they are clearly making more just to spite us.
Yeah, they're like, we can't let that podcast win, goddammit.
Well, it's interesting because they announced when they announced the renewal for seasons 35 and 36, they said that they'll bring the episode tally up to 800 then. Mm-hmm. But to do that, they would have had to produce 25 per season. So that makes me think, yes, you guys are right. They were worried that we were catching up, so they were trying to do more. But season 35 ended with only 18 episodes produced.
Oh, so some in the dumpster. Or are they saving it for 35B?
They're going to do one of that bullshit.
I hate when they split seasons.
I thought we were past that era.
No, we weren't.
No. But we're still in the era of The Simpsons. God bless them. And right now we're reviewing one from the Disney era, the start of the Disney era. This was Season 30, Episode 5, Baby, You Can't Drive My Car. First released in November of 2018, it was directed by Timothy Bailey.
Yeah, so the Australian Weatherman?
No, not the Australian Weatherman.
Get out.
There are two.
No, don't believe it. Do they fight?
I want to see that.
Is this a Highlander situation?
Only over work, yeah. Apart from that, they get along really well.
Okay.
I guess
professional combatants.
I guess it's one of ththose things because one's in the Directors Guild, the other's in the Weatherman's Guild. It's okay that they have the same name. You don't need to have a Timothy B. Bailey situation.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
I bet the Weathermen's Guild's quite a entertaining place to go for an annual meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Not gonna lie, that sounds like a, cabal of sinister people with eyes on world domination, the Weatherman's Guild.
They are the soothsayers.
I know. We predict all!
Only for 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was written by Rob Lezebnik. In this episode, Homer gets fired from the nuclear plant again.
Wow.
But this job, he's working at a self-driving car manufacturer facility thingy.
Testing their self-driviness.
Yeah, and brings Marge along to work one day, and they offer her a job because she's good at team building, exercise, like just playing foosball with the co-workers, basically. And but they find that the company's a bit sinister, and the cars are listening to you and taking you to places that you want to go. How evil. And Mr. Burns and Smithers also get involved to try and take this place down because all
the employees are quitting to go work at...
It was only just Lenny and Carl, but I guess it was everybody.
And they also quit and went to work at the company.
Mm. Hey guys, what'd you think?
Fine, whatever.
Yeah, it was a real middle-of-the-road show.
Let me put it this way.
Appropriate for a self-driving car episode.
It's not just my hands in the air that I don't care about.
Yeah.
Your feet on the ground?
It's also this episode. But...
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, this was just such a bore.
Yeah,
22 loveless minutes.
Look, there were some chortles, I think. There were not a lot of them, but...
Did you dislodge some snot?
It may have moved around slightly. That might not be related to the episode. I have a condition.
Let's look into that. BT, for better or worse, what's going on with your nose? No, what stands out to you from this episode?
It's all worse. No, in this episode, I feel like I'm going to snipe Phil's note, but I'm going to do it anyway. What's with all the singing? Homer is singing.
I've got one thing. You can't take it away from me the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, look, my initial thing that stuck out to me was getting about 2/3 of the way through and being like, but what's happening? Like, what's actually going on here? But then when you mentioned that this is the beginning of their Disney era, I'm like, Wait, are they writing more songs to try and like patch in with Disney? Like, hey, we can write songs because it's mostly just Dan Cass seemingly improv, but he does it like 3 or 4 times.
It seems to be the same song, but I don't know for the life of me what the source material
Yeah,
is.
because there's no backing music, and we've complained about so many times that we're just not going to go into that.
Look, it can work in the terms of a song like Shaving My Shoulders, getting it all shaved off,
But that's
the
quick.
entirety of the song.
Yeah. The good thing about those songs is A, they're memorable, B, they're classics, and C, they stop.
Yeah.
And D, I think about it every time I shave my shoulders.
Yeah, this one, when I'm getting my chicken nuggets, I'm not going to be singing the
No.
chicken nugget song.
Mainly
Not at
because it went on for like, it felt like 4.5 minutes, and I didn't understand any of the lyrics, mainly because I can't hear things very well at the moment.
Yep.
But it was
You
just,
didn't miss anything.
I was just watching a cartoon eat cartoon nuggets.
Yeah.
Well,
I was
the other
like,
thing,
this
like-
is very boring.
At a certain point, Homer's going on, and I stopped paying attention. We cut back to him, and he's starting to cry. I'm like, wait, I know I wasn't listening, and that's on me, but what?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, and then later on when he's singing to the food at the cargo, the self-driving car place.
Oh,
At
that
least
was-
that's a extended, like pure imagination from Willy Wonka kind of thing. But
I remember the Pure Imagine needle drop, but I don't...
oh no,
Was he singing to
No.
Pure Imagination?
No, he didn't
No.
have any lyrics. He was just looking at food, being like food, and that went for quite a while.
Oh,
yeah,
and
that
it's...
went for ages.
Yeah, and that's such a good song to parody as well. Like, it's
Yep.
slow, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But I don't think
look-
it even parried it. I think they just kind of like played
they
the
had
first few
the needle
bars,
drop.
Yeah.
and then he just listed foods that he was putting on a
Yeah.
tray or in his mouth.
Yeah,
Hmm.
look, this is one that's both padded and rushed
Yeah.
because 2/3 of it, and I'm like, but what's the plot? And then the plot's all in the 3rd act, and then it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, we'll get into that. But first, Phil, what stands out to you from this one, for better or worse?
That Ben steals my notes.
Yeah.
Definitely worse. I guess my secondary standout thing would be that there were a lot of gags in here that could have been very good, but I think, just to be very vague, the vibe of the show or this episode was so downplayed and boring that when something funny or something that could have been funny came along, it didn't really have a place to
Yeah.
land. And so you looked at something and went, that's a joke, and I can see it being fast and it makes sense, but I'm just not in the mood to laugh.
Yeah, now there were a couple of moments like I should have at least snorted at that, but
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple of good
yeah.
gags in there, but there was a lot that I just was like,
Well, to that as well,
Yeah.
there were a lot that to me that felt like they had the cadence of a joke but weren't. Like there's a bit
Yeah.
where when they're first, showing the nerds how to have a good time, they find out there's a ice skating rink on the campus of the company, and they all go skating, and one of the nerds falls down and slides in the fetal position, and Homer just goes, "Oh no, he's in the worst position, fetal." And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not like a misdirect or a play on words or anything. It's literally just a statement of what's in front of you, but it has the cadence of a joke, but it's not.
yeah, I think the thing is, like, especially on that example, like, it sets you up for him to say something funny at the end,
Yeah.
and then he doesn't, and you're like, oh, I geared up, and then I had
Yeah.
nowhere to go. So then I was like slightly annoyed for the next 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was also just that part of the episode was just playing into the very 90s idea of a nerd as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Which, God, is so boring. I mean, when was
Yeah.
this released?
2018,
Yeah.
so 6 years ago.
We should have been part. Oh, it's 6 years. Good Lord.
Yeah,
What is
like,
time?
yeah, so basically this episode is trying to, like, skewer the modern tech workplace
Yeah.
where,
Which is fine. I'm for that.
yeah.
Just give me something else to latch onto.
Yeah, but it just didn't feel like to any end. And when because this is what stands out to me is like the big evil thing that the company is doing is listening in on you, and the cars are taking their drivers, quotation marks, because they're
Passengers.
passengers. There we go. They're taking their self-driving cars to locations that they mentioned that they want to go to, and this is bad somehow. Like,
Yeah. Well, it's one thing to have a thing listen to you and then advertise you. To physically take you to a different space seems like it would be a bigger issue.
yeah, it just didn't seem like it was to any evil end.
Yeah.
And even when they're talking about, like, the thing that, because Marge is tolerating this as well because she's having a
Yeah.
lot of fun working with Homer, and that's nice.
Yeah, and I do like that. I like that it was Marge taking the other side of this. Like,
Yeah.
I enjoy working here. I enjoy working with you. So what if they're listening? Everything is listening.
Yeah.
But at least, something like Funzo, while it was listening to the kids, it also then sabotaged other toys, and that
Yeah.
was its evil move they needed.
Yeah, I just feel like even saying with Marge being on the side of the corporation because she loved working with Homer, like, I felt like that was dealt with so quickly, or came up, was dealt with and dismissed so quickly that it didn't, like that could have been a whole second segment. That could be the whole half. Like you could have started that way earlier.
Yeah.
Had shown Marge knowing that this is probably the wrong, because Marge is always on a moral high horse.
Yeah.
She could have struggled with that rather than the 3 seconds that they had her going, no, I think we should still work together, and then immediately find a reason that is essentially just a slightly bit more than the existing reason anyhow, and then she turns.
Yeah, and it's just, they put a microphone in the fob. Like, again, like, I don't like how much my phone is listening to me, but, like, we're not seeing it play out in the show. We're not seeing the corporation acting evilly or people's lives being hindered or made worse because of it. Like, it didn't make sense to me that it was a problem.
Well,
So, like,
Mr. Burns' car did take him to Moe's Tavern because he mentioned, I feel like a drowned rat.
Yeah.
Like, so that's one example.
Yeah, but it could be something as simple as, Lideland Donuts have paid us, to anyone who mentions donuts, to drive us to them, but we need to increase their revenue by 5%, so we're now releasing the odor of donuts into the car, to drive you to want it, to then go pick it up to complete the cycle. At least that's more manipulative.
Yeah, again, we're working with robot cars here, and you're a cartoon. There are so many things you could draw. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
just having the cars to physically take them to the locations is like...
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like the cars clearly don't have a horrendous safety record or anything like that.
No,
like,
nothing like the real world, which is worse somehow.
I thought that's where it was going to go, is the cars were going to start crashing into things and being dangerous, and that was going to be the issue, not over the corporate branding.
No, it was just so inconsequential. But was it a wacky episode? I think I was just saying it was fundamentally lacking wackiness.
There was some whack.
Yeah, they sacrifice a goat.
Yeah.
No, they tried to. But the goat fought back a bit. A guy disappointingly in the knee.
Yeah.
I chuckled at that when I thought it bit him in the dick, and then he like lifts up his knee, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that was a scene that was like initially boring, but like, yeah, because they're like, we need someone who can sit on their ass for hours and hours. And of course, Homer's the right man for the job.
Yep.
Everybody walks out of the seminar. Homer's still there, and we get a time lapse joke. And so for some reason in the cargo company, when they close office, a bunch of like people in robes do their goat sacrificing ritual.
Sacrifice with a guy just there, and they're like, look, we have to do it here for some reason, so I guess that guy's going to find out of our terrible plans and goat sacrifices.
Did Homer's character model look weird to you guys in this moment? I thought his eyes were drawn a bit small.
No, but I've noticed that every plate of food was very desaturated in colour.
Yeah, it's
like
true.
everything looked almost like drawn first and then slightly erased, and then they just left it there.
Yeah, the banh mi especially
Yeah.
looked very weird.
And Bart's bowl of cereal box toys was the same as well. And I'm just
Interesting.
I
didn't mind that joke. Yeah, they've got cereal that's just all the prize inside. That wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then he should have tried to eat it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the 1-2 punch there. But no, instead we got a Bart dancing around because Lisa's just as stupid as him, and that just went on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't awful, but yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of medium jokes that just played out for too long.
Yeah.
And I include all the songs in that, apart from medium jerkiness.
Yep. Other note of whack is Burns is getting a massage at this place, and he slides through the face hole of the massage table. There's some...
That's one that my brain went, I should have laughed then.
Yeah, because it was very unexpected.
But my mouth did not laugh.
It animated well, like him just...
Yeah,
slooping.
good Foley as well, good slooping sound,
Yeah, it was a good sleeping sound. But I'm just like, I consciously went, that should have been funny, but I didn't laugh.
Brain has registered joke.
Yeah, that's right. Engaged mouth. Oh, never mind.
So what do we think about Burns and Smithers' involvement in this? So they notice that the plant is deserted, everybody's quit, and so then they go get jobs at the cargo company.
I mean, it's a means to an end, and that's about it. I don't necessarily buy why you wouldn't just hire different people. I don't know.
But I don't even know what the end was. Like, why was it important to have Burns and Smithers in there at all? Like, they could have been taken out of their story.
Yeah,
and
nothing really changed.
It could have just been Homer making a decision about the car company invading people's privacy too much.
Well, it felt like they were setting up something with building a good rapport with the nerds who didn't factor into the episode at all beyond getting Marge the job in the company.
The way Burns and Smithers get into this is that Lenny and Carl quit. We don't see them at the new place.
No.
So
that's true. And we don't see them quit. They just kind of walk out of a door into a toxic wasteland.
Yeah.
And then there's a chair with a sticky note that just says, I quit.
Yep.
Man, that was another joke that for me that, my brain was like, I should have laughed then, but I didn't. Where it's like, we're going on to greener pastures. They open the door and it's all the toxic wasteland. It's like
nuclear green wasteland, which looked nice, but
Yeah. But like, because there was one bit of dialogue there from Mr. Burns where I'm like, okay, that's an interesting to hinge the plot around. They didn't, which was Mr. Burns being like, oh my God, you can pay them less but make the workplace nicer. I'm like, there's like Mr. Burns, the capitalist, like realizing something new and like
I thought that would start like a relaxation arms race of like making
sure,
trying to make their place more appealing,
or even at the very least a version of what Mr. Burns thinks is relaxing and fun to do.
Yeah.
So it could be like fox hunting at midday and peasant whipping at 3:00.
Yeah.
Everybody get your polo outfit on. Yeah.
So just something, but it did seem like that was going to be the turn, that there'd be arms race of relaxation, not non-monetary benefits.
I would somewhat bet that there may have been a version of the script that did that, because it really seemed like that's where we're going for a second.
Yeah, but all it turns out to be is just Smithers hacks the mainframe and fucking brings them down through that, and it's just such a nothing boilerplate filler story beat.
Yeah, and look, a big sign to tech companies to stop having one button that ruins your entire company. Just stop doing it.
Well, to be fair, Smithers did have to type for up to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how Smithers knows anything about codes, mainframe hacking, or destroying.
He's a versatile man.
Especially this keyboard, which has the hashtag or the pound symbol right next to the enter key, Jordan's anal corner. That's not where it is. It's
why
on the
wouldn't
3.
you just put it where it normally is? Also, that's probably the... Oh, sorry, were you going to yell Jordan's anal corner? Sorry.
No, I was going to talk about the joke that clunked the hardest to me was when, they're talking about all we have to do is hit this key. Right. Ah, yes, release the pound key. It was like...
I think it was pound sign, but either way, it was
terrible.
It was terrible.
You were swearing into...
I was swearing into that point.
Okay.
I actually saw
So there's 2 things you've stolen from me.
Well, you said you were going to ask if I was going for a Jordan's anal corner, and that's not an anal corner. That's a shitty joke.
Yeah, but you should have said no, and then I would have kept going.
Well, fine.
Speaking of arguments, how was the heart in this?
I did not write any notes. Technically, Marge saying how much she loves working with Homer, I should have felt something. Again, by this point, I was just numb.
Yeah, because, again, it doesn't really feel like it's leading to anything. Like, it does set up something good where it's just all these overworked people and they've got all these things available to them and they just needed Marge to tell them that it's there. Like, I don't get that, but...
I could kind of buy that in the sense of, if you've been in an office where there's like a thing that looks like you can use it, but you've never seen anyone use it, and so you're too intimidated to be the one who's like, this is for us, right? I can use it. Yeah. Sure.
Oh, I've definitely worked in places that have like pinball machines and foosballs tables, and they're just secretly known as the get fired table.
Right.
The boss walks past and you're playing the pinball machine, and they're not going to be like, what's your high score? And why aren't you working?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's your fucking conflict in the episode. Oh my God. Like, and, but no, it's a good thing. And Marge is like being promoted through the company and her and Homer are powered.
Hired into the company because she's good at team leading exercises.
I guess.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it, I have seen workplaces where in the break room there's a TV with like a PlayStation hooked up. I have never seen anyone use it. Because who has that time on a half-hour break?
I went once to my lovely wife's work, which is not a tech startup, but in that field. And their break room had all 3 game consoles with their own TVs set up in the... And I'm like, what is this doing here? Has anyone ever used this? And of course, my wife's like, I don't know.
Not her thing.
Absolutely not her thing.
So like day 4 of you being there, it's like, Phil, do you work here? Nope, so you can't find me. Beep, 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 beep.
No, I didn't think of that. I did take a lot of their coffee pods.
That's good enough.
Allegedly.
If you're a tech startup and you're lacking coffee pods, we may have your culprit. Get on Patreon, I'll tell you everything.
Tell them nothing.
The Patreon, the libelous feed. But did it feel like an episode of The Simpsons? Are these the characters we know and love? Is this the show we know and love?
Yeah, sure. Homer gets a new job. Something's weird with it. There's a tech company doing weird things. Mr. Burns doesn't like the new money in town. Yeah, all this is familiar beats. It's just flat.
Yeah, it feels like it's a desaturated version of all those things, though.
Yeah.
Like Homer being unemployed and just watching Korean soap operas with a big beard on the couch.
What was the
like-
joke there? That there was a pop star called Johnny Pop? Like,
Yep. And then he was also standing next to the poster.
To be fair, I don't think
guess.
any of us have watched a Korean soap opera, so maybe that is like a killer joke in
yeah,
Korea.
that's it. That's on us for being, noobs to Korean soap operas.
Yep.
North Korean or South Korean, do you think? I bet the North Korean soap operas are fucking something else.
Intense.
Yeah, well, you have to watch those.
Yeah. And you must discuss them around the water cooler tomorrow.
I mean, there's no water cooler, but there's a sign that says water cooler.
Yeah.
And the
yeah.
water cooler is a job, and this guy who's
Yeah.
just got a fan aimed at the water.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail there. It's just, it's such a, boilerplate, just autopilot, zombie Simpsons.
It drives
even.
itself.
It really does. It fucking
But
does.
it takes you to a place you didn't want to go.
Yep. Look, we've talked before that if they ever do start writing Simpsons via AI, I think we're already there.
Yeah. They even had a nerds dancing to a Christmas AI song.
Well, this was 6 years ago where AI was fun. And you could watch, was it Harry Potter and the portrait of something that looked like a big pile of ash?
Yeah.
That's hilarious because it's nonsense.
Yeah. But now we're living in the nonsense AI era where, are you guys like even check Facebook anymore? Like, I've just been getting these weird fucking AI posts where it's like impossible amputees being like, I'm looking for a husband. Or then it'll be like squint and you'll see Jesus.
How are they impossible amputees?
Oh, they'll have like no arms and legs, but then like 5 tits. Like,
Or like merged into the floor. He's shown me the pictures.
yeah. There's just this
No,
one
I'm
of
not
this
getting- I'm not
woman
getting those.
disappearing into a dock, and it's just
He's like, I'm still beautiful, like if you agree or something. And it's like,
Yeah, right. No, I've not seen those.
yeah, it's a lot of Facebook now.
And then it'll be like Jesus wearing army camo, holding cheeseburgers, and a child in like the middle of what, like,
I feel like I'm missing out. I'm just getting like more ads for Warhammer stuff.
At least we're getting ads that make sense. I got a lot of, like, I'm kind of glad the algorithm doesn't know who I am, but sometimes like, how did you come up with this ad? Why is that? Why am I seeing this?
But yes, no, would you watch this one again?
I would need a reason.
No.
Neither would I. BT, what would you like to change about this one?
Most things, look, I think just spend longer in that third act is going to be the biggest fix, and there is padding here to cut some of those songs that eat up
All of
time.
them.
Yeah,
All the songs.
even I don't know. There's definitely things you can remove. I'm not even sure bringing Bart and Lisa to the work doesn't really add anything. We can remove that. If you need time, it's here in this episode. It's just all in these just extra jokes that are just kind of there. You also don't even necessarily need to get Homer fired. He just needs to find out about this company and quit. That'll be faster.
Yeah, there's enough Homer Jobs episodes that don't even like involve the nuclear plant.
Yeah,
at
where
all.
it just doesn't even. And I don't like. If you want to have Burns and Smithers, have them there for a reason. I like the idea of them starting a war of which place is more fun to work at, and then maybe ending with the Burns being like, oh, wait, this is what I come to work for. I do like the idea of him not knowing how to make a workplace fun. And so it's like, well, whipping you is fun for me. What else do you want?
Yeah. And then you play your Al Jolson and it's like, what, this isn't modern music? And
yeah, there's plenty of Burns-isms to throw into that.
Yeah,
so.
you get Taylor Swift in as a cameo, but make her sing an Al Jolson song.
Nick will be heartbroken.
Yep. Hey, Nick. How about you, Phil? What would you like to change?
I think, as BT said, you cut out all the fat because there are some jokes. Like, there's enough jokes in there that should have been funny and just weren't. I think you just need to make this a fun episode by making it, I guess, less boring, more direct. I know that's not a very helpful note for the people who have time machines and work for The Simpsons, but I don't need to see 3 minutes of Homer eating chicken nuggets on the way to work. I mean, I will give a props to Mr. Burns having the world's only Fabergé chicken. I did have a bit of a chuckle at that.
Yeah, I didn't mind
like
that. And as a sort of setup to, now I've perfectly positioned this priceless item and now nothing bad. Like, I appreciate that sort of
and that kind of
flavoured
works.
joke, yeah.
I think at the cost of losing that good joke, we could lose the first 4.5 minutes out of Seg 1, for sure. And like you say, start Homer going, oh, I got a new job. It's perfect. I don't even know why they gave people jobs in the first place, because it's just the most sedentary people they could have sitting still in a car while the car drives around. I don't really know what serves
let's
as a
assume
purpose.
some people do need to test these things to some
I
degree.
guess so. But,
Like field test, we'd probably write reports
and
about it.
Also, if this episode was 12 minutes long, it would have been a hell of a lot funnier. Because although seeing what Homer does when he's in a car and doesn't need to drive is a good idea. I don't need to see 14 versions of what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like when he gets to building ships in bottles, I'm like, no. It should have stopped at a keg stand with Lenny and Carl.
Yeah, that really peaked there. Like, I didn't mind where they sort of did the nod to the intro with Maggie pretending to drive.
Well, that was funny, yeah. But that could have been the second one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there were way too many of that. Like, he's cutting a bonsai. Fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's like, this is unnecessary. Like, he would have been asleep or drunk 90% of the time, and that would have been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of fat to trim out of this. And I think losing the boring down stuff, you would make it a fun, exciting episode, and then the jokes would land, and then that would be a better show. You could definitely bring the third act plot, I guess, is the whole point, into the second act, and then have more of a resolution at the end, as BT says. But yeah, just make it better.
Yeah, it is really lacking in the good. Like, the dogs are not tight on this.
Dogs are running all around the yard.
Yeah, like
whatever the opposite of not tight dogs. I don't know.
I feel like the term loose dogs means something very different.
But who let these dogs out?
Yeah, look, there's something really unsatisfying to me about setting up the good rapport with the nerds and just leaving it and having it mean nothing. And there is something to, like, the corporation, overworking them and potentially, like, having these things as traps where, from the outside into any, like, I don't know.
Potential hiree, you see all the fun things and realize but then realize no one ever uses them.
Yeah, and that there's actually a toxic culture of crunch culture or something, like, just to give the episode some stakes. Not everything needs to be a social commentary, but, like, you've gotten in a social commentary, it's like self-driving cars are starting to become a thing. What can we do with that? And it's a really toothless fucking episode in this way. Yeah,
it just seemed like it was the first idea they came up with, and then they just went, that'll do.
Yeah. This is a script full of first ideas. It's just, there's so many clunker jokes as well, like, and so many extended jokes, like Lenny and Carl going, like, but I want to make smoothies. You don't like smoothies, yeah, but I want to make them. It's just fucking tighten up.
Yeah, like, definitely not worth the trip to get to that one. Although I did like when the car starts taking them to things during their conversation, Homer's like, holy crap, and it goes straight to church.
Yeah.
Like, that was fun. I'm like, that's good. And then I presume that happened again in the post-credit sequence where they went to, which I fucking hated, where Homer puts the car in snuggle mode and then they're like, ooh, he's kind of mouthing the words to a Barry White song, but not using any lyrics.
Yeah, my big note there is, what the fuck is this voice?
Yeah. And then...
Marge, I'm going to snuggle you tight.
Yeah. I actually couldn't hear the lyrics, so I was like, all right, this is kind of Barry White-ish. And then the car stops and was Lovejoy in the toilet?
That's kind of the downs. Like, I like holy crap and he shows up at church, but then it implies that they pull up in front of Reverend Lovejoy who's taking a crap, and it's like, you've bitten the same spot of the apple twice.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if implying someone had said something more lewd than holy crap, and then we had to make the joke. But I'm like, no. Did someone say holy shit?
Yes. Oh, I didn't realize he was on a toilet. I thought they just installed it.
It's sort of implied.
It was a toilet-sized window.
I thought they had, like, put a drive-through on the church for some reason.
Well, they would have to, because that's how all the jokes would work.
Yeah, but again, this has a weirder implication that Reverend Lovejoy got in partnership with this company to bring people there, but then was annoyed when people showed up.
But he also paid for the keywords, holy crap.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
And Mo going, good thing I paid for those keywords, and then look at the keywords.
Yep. One of them is hell, and the other's hole. Ooh.
Yeah, and one of them was Billy W.
Oh,
was it?
Yeah, and I'm like, that's the only one I saw, and I'm like, well, I obviously missed the funny one.
Yep.
Sometimes when they just do these wall of text jokes, it's just like, I'm not even honoring this by reading it.
Yeah. No, it's just, they definitely needed to figure out what this episode could have been, because it was not a terrible premise, but it was just terribly executed.
Yeah. Oh, and, like, I love the idea of Homer and Marge working together and it being a positive thing. Yeah. And there's something to Homer being the one who has the moral conflict here. But
that was
again, it was just also toothless. And
also, did we really see Homer enjoying working with Marge? Like, Marge loved it.
Yeah.
Apart from, like, the VR hugging a cactus and hugging a...
Yeah, I mean, he was enjoying the foosball tournaments, and then when the kids came, enjoyed having a meal together that was Yeah, he did seem genuinely conflicted as well when, like, they discovered the cars were taking them places they, again, wanted to go.
But not right now.
He literally said to the car, I could go for this. Like, I don't... Anyway, it's time for our final notes.
I could go for a burger, but I don't want to go there right now. We're in the middle of something.
You're
Final
You're
notes.
also not in the car.
Yeah.
Important
Anyway, that was
distinction.
your final notes song. So,
Wow, you put in as much effort as they did.
Hey-o.
Hey. Phil, do you have any other final notes from this episode you want to mention before we move on to the rankings?
I've got a lot of notes written down, but I don't know if I really care about
I felt the same. I'm going through my notes, and like flagging which ones I actually want to talk about. I'm like, skip that, skip that, skip that.
Yeah, I've got one that says no sneaking. I can't remember what that says.
Oh, yeah, because Homer, Burns, and Smithers are, like, sneaking,
right.
and it's like, wouldn't this be better if we didn't actually skulk? And then they're like, oh, yeah, we're employed, and they put on there.
Yeah.
Lanyards.
Lanyards. Oh,
Lanyard
joke,
humor.
yeah.
Haha.
This is the most boring version of, like, gallows humor. It's lanyards humor.
Yeah, I was like, and the other gallows humor is when Skinner and his mum are driving and she's giving him grief about driving. And he's like, oh, what am I going to do with you? And they turn up at the assisted suicide.
Yeah,
place.
one of two suicide jokes in this.
Yeah,
'Cause,
yeah.
when
Oh, the second one was
Grim, yeah.
when the
Weird.
car's shut down, it's just random character we've never seen before. It just pulls out a gun and holds it to his head. Cut scene.
Was
Yeah.
that the guy who was getting attacked by cats? Was it a
No,
different
that was
guy?
Lenny. Again, this is one where I'm like, how is this the self-driving car's fault? This has happened anyway.
Yeah, this is an overpopulation of feral cats issue.
Fuck, that's too. Sorry, he was eating fish sticks. Why is he not making, I don't know, a milkshake or a smoothie that he mentioned he was doing? So yeah, he's making a smoothie. This car stops suddenly. He spills milk all over himself. Then the cats show up.
There we go.
Or he's got a car full of pre-made smoothies that he hasn't done. Yeah. No, that's much
That's
better.
way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the
Again,
fucking hell, dude?
10 seconds of workshop.
I did like after he gets the job, they're like, should we know anything else about you? And he goes, sometimes my road rage is actually home rage that I bring into the car, which I thought was all right. Goat sacrifice.
Yeah,
That'd
it
be
was
going
also
well.
in this scene, though, where it was a lot of Homer not getting that it was self-driving
Yeah,
cars.
it was a very
just
Mr.
Yeah.
Thompson moment, which was fine, and I did like the payoff. It cuts to like a little sticky note that just says the car drives itself,
yeah.
which I then thought got diminishing returns when we had the Skinner Agnes section, because it's the same bit with just a different punchline.
Yeah, which, I mean, I don't know. If you're going to do a Skinner Agnes fighting thing, like her being annoyed that it's driving too fast is something, but like, again, that it ended with that joke as well. It's just like, well, that was grim.
Are they implying that Skinner should kill himself, or that Agnes should kill herself, or they should...
Skinner should
surely
kill
he,
Agnes.
Surely he was taking
But
her.
that's murder. That's not I guess it's assisted suicide, but
Yeah,
the-
She's got to want it. Like,
And what's not murder if assisted suicide?
yeah.
disclaimer,
Now
do
that
not
now that I
murder anyone under
read the
the...
rest of my notes. There's nothing here that I even want to really say out loud.
Please do not murder anyone under the guise of assisted suicide.
The Simpsons Index does not support murder.
The views expressed by these hosts are not necessarily the views of the Simpsons Index, which is run by these hosts.
BT, any other notes?
Sure. I do like when Quimby's all like, we outbid everyone to get cargo to come to us. When they're like, what does the city get? Jobs. 8 to 12 of them. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
That wasn't bad.
Let's...
But then, yeah, it's
There's like hundreds of people work there.
yeah, which, I mean, I guess if the company's successful, it makes sense. But again, there was no, like, it was to no end. We didn't see Lenny and Carl working there.
Yeah.
We didn't see anyone else from the nuclear plant.
And you know
quit.
what else I just realized that we never saw
What?
was people really being taken by Homer in the self-driving car, and then the self-driving car becoming a big thing. It just was Homer drives
They're
it,
in beta testing. Now everyone has
and then literally every car on the street is a self-driving car.
Yep.
Anyway,
Anyway, there's a bit where when they first, notice all these foosball tables and stuff, they're like, hey, nerd. And then the people, yes. That was a bit I kind of liked. I then immediately disliked of like, come along. And then they're like, okay, logging off. Yeah, that's what everyone says when they log off. They announce very loudly in the middle of work that they're logging off.
do you think they would know after doing 35 years of this to not bite the same joke twice?
You think they would know after a lifetime of being a bunch of fucking nerds what nerds are like? I'm not talking to you,
Writers
David
aren't
X.
nerds.
Cohen.
Yeah.
I mean,
Some of them are. Some of them have PhDs in science. They're a
Yeah.
bunch of fucking
and surely if your middle initial is X, you're a nerd.
nerds. Yeah.
Well, he had to change it to X because there was another David S. Cohen on the Futurama writing team as well.
Oh, how confusing.
And so, like, yeah, it was the classic. They both turned up to work, and it's like one of us has to go home and change.
Oh, they should have fought.
Yep.
The Nerfatorium.
I did like the Nerfatorium. That was a good name. Anyway, there's a part where Mr. Burns calls it a horseless, driverless carriage. Like, okay, that's a fair Burnsism. I just like the line delivery of Marge when she's all like, but the microphone's going to be in the fob, but you take that everywhere, including the powder room. Just, yeah, it's a very Margeism. And that is my final note.
Yep. I didn't mind the part where they're going through Homer's driving history and he's like, he ends up being a good candidate for the self-driving car because he is such a horrible driver. And it's like, yeah, I never use my blinkers. Where I'm going is my business. USA, USA.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that.
Reasonable.
Yeah, that was all right. And I also thought that he's got caution fat idiot on his driver's license, and they go, who is this supposed to be warning?
Yeah. No, that wasn't bad where it was then like, my sisters work at the DMV.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It's an example of joke that is not a bad joke in of itself, but pushed in towards the warm macaroni of this boring episode becomes nothing.
Oh, this is a very cheeseless macaroni. Yeah.
I will also say I thought there was a callback coming when they're like, well, is there anything else you need to know during the interview? And I thought he was going to say, I lost my last job because I drove into my boss's office.
It was a car-related incident.
Oh my God, yeah.
And he just, it was like, oh, I mean, that felt like a gimme, but sure.
Yeah, there's so many gimmies in this one. But speaking of social commentary again, can I have one of those coffees that's actually a milkshake? Fucking, where have you been with the Starbucks commentary? Like, Jesus. And then
Frappuccinos took a hiding that day.
And
in 2018.
and then the multiple cow selections for milk was,
tedious.
Yeah, it was
tedious ass joke.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it where they were, Homer said, I was so hungry I could eat a horse, and it turns up at Krusty Burger.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's not
I
bad.
was so waiting for it to turn up at like a horse place.
What did they say that led them to the monkey rental? Or...
Oh, monkey business.
Yeah, that's right. There's some monkey business going on, and then they smash cut to the cargo officers, and they're wearing monkey rental shirts, and they've got monkeys.
And they're surrounded by monkeys. I thought that was fucking good as a joke, but it was just like, I don't know, too little too late. But I do I think in another episode, that would have been a laugh out loud moment. It's like, what's his monkey business? And they next open the door and just a bunch of monkeys, and they're wearing a monkey rental shirt.
Yeah. We went there. Of course we rented monkeys.
Never-ending source of animal comedy. Unlike, watch out, we've got lawyers that are also wolves.
Oh.
Yeah, that was... I don't mind it.
And then
Crossbreed.
Homer's pretend lawyer.
Yeah, that was weird to say, oh, you're going to hear from my lawyer, which is definitely not going to be Mo, and then cut to ad break, and then come back to Mo going, well, I'm Homer's lawyer, and I'm definitely real. Hang up, end scene. And you're like, you didn't need that.
Yeah.
That was another point of conflict I was going to say in the What Would You Change, is because then later on in the episode when Burns and Homer are drinking at Moe's, and Moe's said, oh, yeah, I bought the keywords to start bringing the cars here. There's your conflict, and like Homer's like, oh no, Mo, you too? Like,
Yeah, I think maybe Homer wouldn't care until he realizes everyone's in on it, and yeah.
But yeah, then at the end, Homer and Marge are like, we'll take the old-fashioned self-driving car, and they get towed, which brings us to our guest star of the episode playing the tow truck driver was Tracy Morgan.
Why?
Right.
Just to make a comment that he's going to text and drive. And
why have a guest star for the last word of your episode?
Not the last word, because this episode had 2 bonus extra fucking fourth act
for all the
scenes.
jokes that they couldn't fit in the bloated episode.
Yeah. So yeah, the Snuggle one, which Phil mentioned before, and also there was the company's now reinventing into going into talking tattoos, basically doing a Spanish duff ad.
Yeah, it's like, okay, if you had that technology, that'd make you a fuck ton of money, but sure.
But also, if you're going to do a whole joke in Spanish, give me subtitles. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
It was, again, like the K-pop, K-star joke, I just was like, is the joke that he's the tattoo speaking Spanish? What's...
Cerveza? What the hell is that?
It's time to rank this thing on the Simpsons index. We rank using a 6-point scale, which starts down the bottom at failure. Maybe if the episode was just, you give it a participant. But for the positive rankings, you got okay bronze, good silver, excellent gold, but for the best of the very best, you give cubic zirconia. I'm going to go first. Let me show you how it's done. Look, it's a participant. Like, I think it was you that said earlier, Beach, that it's a self-driving episode. It is so on autopilot. It is so boring. But yeah, like, it's not a failure for me, at least. Like, a few good jokes. I don't think, like, it commits any major sins. It's just, it just leaves so many gimmies on the table and just does nothing. BT, what do you reckon?
I'm the same way. We, a long time ago, coined the term conveyor belt Simpsons, and this is absolutely that.
Yep.
It is pure assembly line. And yeah, despite the fact that there's some obvious bits that could have been better, it's whatever. I don't care.
And Phil?
I'm going to make it a thruple and put a dead set into participant because it was, I don't know, it was a solid 4 out of 10.
It definitely participated.
Yeah, it was there. It's the brown ribbon.
Yeah. Is that from Auntie Donna?
No, that's
I
from a
won
Simpsons
many.
episode.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I don't know which one, but everyone gets a trophy day. I think it's when Homer's trying to cheer up Bart, like in an early episode, and he's like, "Look at all your trophies and things," and there's like one that's just like everyone gets a trophy day. And he's like, "Oh, see the brown ribbon."
Yeah. I should watch this show. It sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, let's watch another episode and hopefully improves. It has the word better in the title. We're going to watch the episode called Better Off Ned.
Oh.
Yeah, another
be
pun. How unusual.
And we are back, and we just watched another episode from the Disney era. This was Season 31, Episode 16, Better Off Ned. First released in March of 2020. It was directed by Rob Oliver, story by Al Jean, teleplay by Joel H. Cohen and Jeff Westbrook. In this episode, after Bart's latest getting in trouble, Flanders offers to mentor the young boy, but after seeing what a good job and results are starting to happen, Homer gets a bit jealous and starts mentoring Nelson in return. Hey guys, what did you think?
Like the St. Patrick's Day that this obviously came out on.
Yep.
And
nothing else happened in that month, March of 2020.
Just St. Patrick's Day.
Regular old March.
It started off fun and frivolous and then became a bit dragging and boring and samey.
Yep, I will say first scene with Grandpa and Bart, I was like, okay, this is good. And then as soon as we went to the assembly with Skinner, and immediately, I literally have in my notes, this episode's going to suck.
Yeah.
Because that scene alone, I'm like, what are you doing already? It's been 3 minutes and I'm already angry. And like, not from anything in particular, just from the very structure of how they're going through that scene is a mess.
Yeah. It is a very messy episode. I'd even say from the start because, it starts out with the crawl through Springfield and, we got 2 leprechauns fighting in the Simpsons cloud thing.
Yeah.
And then a sign about St. Patrick's Day, and then Lisa's doing the chalkboard gag, and decent enough joke. Bart's got a doctor's appointment or something like that. But then it weirdly cut, into the chalkboard gag as it got into the episode. And that sort of, to me, was pretty indicative of the pacing of this one is just really choppy. And yeah, not good.
Yeah. There's a lot not good. There's also, actually, to get to what stuck out to me.
What's it have to get better or worse?
Do you want to go first so I don't snipe you again?
Oh, I was not prepared for going
I got
first.
a lot.
He says they're packing away his crucifix that could be a...
Converted into a slingshot.
Yes. I
Slingshot.
couldn't figure out what that was supposed to be.
It's meant to be like a Oswald,
Is it a
book
JFK
depository kind of thing.
Yeah, I felt like it was
assembling
more
the
of a
rifle.
Goodfellas vibe to it, but I mean, it was obviously homage to something, and I thought JFK, but I don't know, it seemed a bit on the nose. I'd slightly disagree because I feel like the first half of it was, there's some good gags. It was not bad. I was like, I've got 2.5 pages of notes, which seems like a lot. I haven't reread those notes, so maybe they're terrible. I mean, the thing that stuck out to me, I think I'm going to say most of all, is when Bart releases the dummy grenade at assembly, which I agree, there was too many gags about how they're a sedentary school and we're doing a 2-hour sit-down auditorium meeting.
And a random cut to, classroom full of fat kids where there's a sign, these kids are too fat to fit through doors or something.
I know, that
was
was very strange.
Yeah.
But then, because Milhouse's dad is there as the mascot, who's the vulture, and everyone's running away from this dummy grenade because they don't know it's a dummy grenade, he opens the back of his costume and says, "Quick, son, climb in my ass."
I'm in my ass hatch, son.
Yeah.
I didn't say hatch. I didn't get the hatch bit. Maybe because I was so already going, what the fuck?
But like even before that, he comes on stage and is like, "Oh, it's the new mascot," and then he takes off his hat to show you it's Kirk. Then he puts his mascot head back on. He's like, "Oh, there's a bee in here," and then he runs around for a little bit being stung, and it's just
and already like going because Milhouse goes, he's the understudy. The other guy had shingles, and then Kirk's scratching, and it's like
this is like
so many bites at the apple.
There's not even the same, but it's like there's so many things in what is probably a minute, and it's baffling.
But like again with that scene, because like I agree with you, Beach. I actually really liked that opening where Grandpa's telling one of his old war stories, and Bart's actually getting into it, and he goes to give him a present of a grenade, and it's like, I'm not meant to take the pin out, and even a great line is like, "I'll say your prayers, Bart," and he goes, "Never."
Yeah, that's fine. And then
that was pretty good.
We've talked about Bart and Grandpa having this kind of understated relationship, and Grandpa pranked Barton pretty well.
Yeah,
in
so
this
it was
scene.
a fake grenade. Yeah. And so, Bart attempts to do that at the assembly, and, like, I get with, like, the chaos of the moment and everything, but there was just, like, too many things, because then, all of a sudden Skinner's peed himself, and it was just it was too busy of a scene.
Yeah. Look, what stuck out to me is weird connections this one has with the last one.
Can I interject suddenly?
Absolutely.
And be like, why are there no subtitles in the French joke bit?
Yeah.
When the Bumblebee Man comes, there's subtitles.
Yep.
I had
What
a
is
feeling
going
that
on?
was going to come up.
Yeah, because again, it's like, okay, Bart's in trouble with Skinner, so he walks out, and then Lisa's there, and like, "Oh, Bart, are you in trouble again?" "Well, I'm with the French Club." He's like, "Oh, you better not say jokes I don't understand." And then they say jokes we don't understand for 30 seconds. And you're like, why? What? Oh, I bet they're loving this in France.
Yeah, again, this is one for the real French heads out there.
I guess it's just,
The French heads.
And the other weird connection, so in the last one, Marge says something to Homer along the lines of, "You keep licking deodorant," and he goes, "Hey, mint is mint." And in this one, Homer says to Nelson, "I can show you how to use mint gum as deodorant." And I'm like, why are these things... What?
Yeah, and that leads to what stands out to me. I actually like this premise. Ned mentoring...
I liked it when they did it the first time with a bigger brother scheme.
Thank you. That's where I was going, because I've got a couple of notes.
I sniped him this time.
Yeah.
That's the theme for this episode.
Yeah, Pete just sniping all over the place.
Yep. Sorry.
You're not bidding on anything on eBay that I'm bidding on, are you?
Maybe.
Oh, damn it.
David Hasselhoff keychain will be mine.
Not the Hoffhead.
The very same.
For all you Hoffheads out there. Like, even though this episode is, kind of a rip-off of the Bigger Brother episode, you know what? Looking back, that wasn't that great of an episode anyway. That was one of the rare fucking clunkers of the classic year.
Yeah.
So, and I think this is a fresh enough take on it, but we've also got shades of the Simpsons movie where Ned and Bart start having a relationship, and they go fishing at some point in the movie as well. Like,
How do you remember what happened in the Simpsons movie?
Kind of his thing.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know why I keep getting impressed by it, but I'm impressed. And shocked.
Yeah, I saw the Simpsons movie maybe 3 times at cinemas.
Yeah, but that was like 15 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, God. When was the last time I watched it? I might not have watched it since doing this podcast, actually.
Yep.
Madness. That's the first time I've ever heard you say that.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah, we should review it sometime. It
Yeah.
seems important to the Simpsons
Tell
catalog.
you what, I'll do it on the next Patreon when I get to select a movie that has a Simpsons character in it.
Nick already tried to do that, and I'm like, look, you're technically right. It stars a cast member of The Simpsons, so it does count.
It's very much...
However.
It's very much... Listen here, you little shit.
Fuck, I wonder if anyone from The Simpsons is in Howard the Duck.
Oh, fuck, it's possible.
Google that for me.
I wouldn't be
listeners.
shocked.
I'd love to check it out. And yeah, if you want to suggest a movie for us to review, you can over at our Patreon page, but it has to star a cast member of The Simpsons. Patreon.com/SideQuestStudios. We'll talk more about that later. But, like, because I think Homer and Nelson is a good pairing as well. And it's like this weird kind of leveling up thing where this is how far Bart has gone with Homer as his parent, but, like, Nelson could hope to achieve that, you know? And
I kind of like... My one real note of heart is where Homer bumps into Nelson at the dump and is like, wow, this kid's such a wreck. I could help him.
Yeah.
But then there's that snot bit that goes forever. Of just snot coming out of Nelson's nose as he's crying, and Homer tries to wipe it, and it goes back up and back and down. And
then out his ears.
Oh, I missed that part.
But then it's also, there was like 30 seconds of Homer expositioning about the moral implications of the thing that he's just about to do.
Yeah,
that you already know that's going to happen.
They gave me time to write down the comparison to the Bigger Brother section.
Yeah, you missed the snot out the ears.
I missed out.
But yeah, because I feel like there's some of the moves that they do are in the right place, like Bart kind of getting over the goody-goodiness of Ned and his kids and whatever. Like,
yeah, like he looks kind of bored by the end of it, and that should have been a thing.
Yeah, it wasn't.
No.
Bart wasn't really in this episode apart from the inciting incident, and then
yeah, his turn was really quick as well. It was just over
Homer's turn was really quick, where he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna hang out with Nelson to get back at Bart." It's like Bart wasn't angry at you.
Yeah,
you could get back at Flanders, maybe.
Yeah,
like if Homer had started mentoring Rod or Todd, that would have been good.
Yeah. Yeah, starts bringing them around to the dark side. Hell yeah,
make them more of a douchebag. Sure.
But how was the wackiness in this episode?
Grandpa's meds make his head spin around 360 degrees and fire come out of his ears.
Yeah, that opening scene wasn't perfect.
Also, like the photo had movement in it. Which
also,
was
climbing my ass hatch, son.
Yep. Oh, there was a weird bit when they're in the office after Bart does the grenade prank at school and they're all in the office together. Ned's there. I don't know why he's here at all. I guess he's Bart's teacher at the time.
Well, he dove on the grenade, which for some reason I thought he was Bart's teacher.
Yeah, he was Bart's teacher
true.
for a while. So
maybe this is that era.
Anyway, so they're in Principal Skinner's office, and then there's this whole thing where Ned starts wanting to lead a prayer, and then Chalmers is like,
this went forever as well.
And then there's this random wacky-ass cut to outside where a storm brews, and then the school display board goes, uh-oh.
Yeah,
that was very strange. That even made me do a double take at the thing that I was already looking at.
I don't know what this was meant to be. I don't know what the prayer chain thing was meant to be.
I like the threat of you're going to let me do this, or I'm going to get 200 people to start emailing the school about it. But he didn't need an app called Prayeramid.
I feel like that the Prayeramid word gag had to get filled. They were like, "Oh, that's great. Prayeramid's excellent. How do we do that?"
Yeah,
and they brainstormed.
it
could just be a line of dialogue where it's like, you can't do that. Well, I know 200 parents who will email you every day for the rest of the school year unless you that's fine.
I'll just add you to the list of the Prayeramid list, and just like.
But I didn't need an app and to see him gathering the people, and
Chalmers reading through this legal document. It just dragged so long. Yeah, my note there is blur.
In that scene, I like that Skinner is in a kilt because he had to change pants. So.
Oh, right. I didn't clock that. Yeah. There you go.
I didn't see that either, actually.
So,
I do like that Superintendent Chalmers said, now you've ruined bringing grenades to school for everyone.
Yeah.
That was all right.
That's not bad.
It's not an episode completely void of good bits, but man, are they few and far between and not enough to save this.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking through my other notes of whack, the only other one that really stood out to me was the ending where Homer goes to Nelson, I was only doing this to make Bart jealous, and Nelson's like, I'll take out on Bart. I liked the animation moment of his revenge box, but then the gag itself was nothing. Yeah. But the animation there of Nelson's crown drawing looked really good.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Yeah, it was just his plan was to play a tuba and then explode people.
Yeah, which wasn't then the plan he performed.
But then there was a flashback at the end after the resolution and Homer comes good and Bart and Homer get back together. There was a little bit of that plan graphics again with the end or something. So was that really Nelson's plan?
All along.
Was to get Homer and Bart back together in a way that he knew would work? Is he more conniving than we even possibly could imagine?
Yeah, that's it. It could have been a whole thing of, I might not have a dad, but, you've got this dad. I don't know. But that's not what the episode was. It could have been. Again, another recurring theme of today is there's just so many gimmies left on the table that it just, not explored. And then, even the final thing of, so Nelson's up in a building and he got a slim shot aimed at the button which will close the prayer hands, and he's going to time it to make it close over Bart. This thing is made of chicken wire and flowers. It surely wouldn't have hurt.
Not be comfortable, but...
Homer literally didn't even go,
Yeah.
when it closed on him. He just, got stuck there and then...
Did imply it broke his arm.
Yeah, he had to get taken away in an ambulance afterwards.
That could be a sprained rotator
That's
cuff.
true.
Again, it just made no sense. And if this is your final climax of the episode, this is really weak source.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very weak. Like there was no resolution out of it, and there was also like it seemed like he was rescued immediately.
Yeah.
Like even faster than when a bridge closed on his head, and then straight into an ambulance. And you're like, oh, that was I mean, my note was that was very fast.
Yep.
And I didn't write weak source, but I wrote the words similar to that.
But yeah, that's a great comparison because that is a very dangerous situation that they're making, a joke out of and how silly it is, and he's dangling by his head and it's like, that wouldn't happen. But yeah, this one's just like they're selling an injury of just something that just wouldn't have hurt. like I don't know if any of you have ever played with chicken wire out there. It's very pliable.
Yeah, it's squishy. Yeah, It's just lucky chickens are very weak.
Yeah. It's why they were able to attach flowers to it and make it into her hands. It's very movable. Like
I feel like an exploding tuber would have been a better resolution.
Exactly.
Very much so. Look, I got a couple other bits I definitely want to bring up. Okay, so Lisa confronts Homer and is like, here's $40, go to therapy.
Yep.
So Homer gets $40 worth of therapy to no end. Like that could be lifted entirely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, why does
the
Lisa have
conversa-
$40?
Yeah, it's the conversation between Homer and Nelson's mom that makes him realize that exploiting Nelson is bad. This therapist did nothing, so why is this here?
So we can have another Gil joke.
I guess it blew. For a while, I thought we were getting another plot, and was like, no. And then Duffman's there, and he says some stuff and leaves.
Oh,
that
my
was
God.
weird. Duffman turning up, saying I'm not typecast, quoting Shakespeare in a Duffman voice, and then walking out again.
This whole
Moonwalking out.
This whole episode feels like a dare where the writers were just like, okay, I'm going to write down a weird suggestion. You have to work it into a scene somehow.
They just ended themselves into an
Yeah.
episode.
Well, yeah, with the weird writing credit of, story by Al Jean, teleplay by Joel H. Cohen and Jeff Westbrook. Yeah, this has such vibes of that.
And does everyone with the last name Cohen have to have a middle initial? Is that a rule?
Must be.
Oh, well, the Joel H. Cohen, that's a funny one because, fuck, is he the same guy? Because there was the whole thing with why Bill Murray agreed to do the Garfield movie like 20 years ago.
Oh, because you got the wrong Cohen.
Yeah, it was directed by a Cohen, and he assumed it was like Cohen Brothers, but
And
it
didn't
wasn't.
think about Garfield.
Yeah. Editing Bay Elliot Jay here to say that, that is a different Joel Cohen that wrote the Garfield movie. So the one that works on The Simpsons is Joel H. Cohen, and the one that wrote the Garfield movie from 2004 is Joel Cohen. And the Cohen brother is also Joel Cohen, but he spells Cohen C-O-E-N. The other two spell it C-O-H-E-N. Okay, that's cleared up. Elliot Bay Editing Jay here to sign off.
Surely you fire your agent after that.
He doesn't have one. Very famously, Bill Murray does not have an agent.
Well, I think
Really?
that's an advertisement.
Yeah.
For
Like
having an
it's
agent.
apparently you call him up and tell him what you're doing, and if he wants to do it, he'll call you back.
Wow, okay.
So apparently, this is what I've heard. Don't know how true that is, but
That'd be a hell of an answering machine.
yeah. So this is why he's kind of infamously weird to work with, because sometimes you don't know if he's going to show up.
You're just like, well, I left a message on his service 3 months ago.
Yeah, I think it's
And he didn't say
on movies that made us. I think they're talking about Ghostbusters, and Bill Murray agreed to do it, but then no one heard from him for 3 months, and then they go into day one of the shoot. They're like, God, I hope he shows up.
Yeah.
Then he did, and made Ghostbusters.
Hooray!
There we go. But how was the heart in this episode?
Right, I got
Oh,
one.
you got more whack? Sorry.
No, it's not whack, but it's part I really have to bring up because.
Okay.
So Bart goes to Ned's place after school. They're doing dishes. Ned's talking all about how it's doing a chore is good for you. Bart pretends to cut himself with, and then has like the ketchup for fake blood, and then Ned turns to him and goes, "I'll make that real blood, you little punk." And I'm like, okay, this is going to be the plot. This is going to be that kind of rage boiling underneath Ned, and he's going to talk about maybe. Either we're going to talk about keeping rage in check, or it's going to be Bart is going to be like, no, you have to let that out occasionally, otherwise you'll go crazy. And it does not come up again.
Nope.
In fact, I looked away because I was making a note. Does Ned trip Homer when they're riding bikes around when they're making the float?
No, Homer trips over, I think it's like one of those, sprinklers that,
Right, but then that single instance of this is that one bit where Ned threatens to cut Bart open, basically.
Yeah.
And it's got nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
It's
because I
so
thought
weird.
that was one of those moments, and this seems to be indicative of this era of Simpsons, where they allude to something that seems like it could be interesting and then just don't go there.
Yeah.
I'd love to see an episode where Ned Flanders is actually a real sadistic hard ass who has to work on this flowery Christian image, because if he drops that, it's
Oh, we had
Diabolical.
Hurricane Ned, where his house gets destroyed and he flips out. And we find out, that he actually grew up in a rough orphanage after his parents gave up on him. And there'd be something to be said about gaining an understanding of what Homer goes through by looking after Bart and having, is this what your boy's really like? He's driving me crazy. Or even have, the revelation that Ned is holding back a lot of rage. And the whole, soft outer exterior is, something of a mask. But they just doesn't. And this line just sits there by itself for no reason.
Yeah, it's true.
Again, it feels like someone scrolled that line up, threw it at someone and was like, hey, you have to put that in your scene now. Ha!
Yeah, because it's quite a shocking thing for Ned to do, and to not either justify why he did it in the moment other than, it is a joke, quote unquote, or that, it becomes a story point later, or that, Ned took it for granted how easy that Rod or Todd was, but it's none of these things. And Bart's, getting better is nothing either.
Yeah. What if, after that line, he took his green jumper off and he's got, full sleeve tattoos, and that's why he's in the green jumper all the time?
Yeah, sure. Why the hell not?
That'd be fucking wicked.
Yeah.
It'd be something other than this plot, which was, nothing.
So how was the heart?
I already said it.
Yeah.
Homer's I could probably improve Nelson because he's that bad. Even I could help him. That was the only heart I wrote down.
Yeah, it was close for me, though, with Homer and Nelson. That's a pairing that makes sense. The idea that, Nelson is taking him away from Bart is a bit that's some, next level bullying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be a fun revelation. Homer comes in with a heartfelt, I have to tell you, I'm only hanging out with you to get revenge on my son. He's like, yeah, I'm only hanging out with you to get revenge on your son.
Yeah.
That's a good bonding moment.
Yeah, because there's just something so hollow about the whole, because they really do dig into the whole, Nelson's got emotional trauma from not having a dad and then having all these blow-in people in his life.
Who leave.
4 fucking corkboards worth.
I mean, you got to keep those headshots up just so you know who they used to be.
Yeah, exactly. As you can see with the corkboards of all my exes all over the wall.
I was going to ask about that, but I decided
I thought it was
best
not to. That felt like a thing you don't bring up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, all my exes like Rosalina and Daisy and Peach, Splatoon girl.
For our listeners at home, there's a big wall of Nintendo amiibos behind us, and it makes more sense if you're sitting in the room.
Yep. Love doing visual jokes on an audio
And you didn't even mention Box Boy, your most valuable one?
Don't say that out loud. People don't know where he lives.
Yeah, don't dox the box.
yeah, don't dox the box. That was like a Red Rooster ad.
Yeah. There's almost an emotional moment with Marge as well, where Lisa goes, Marge, step in, do something. And she's like, look, both boys are being helped right now. I don't want to. I've got my own child to worry about.
I mean, that didn't feel hearty at all. That felt like they're just explaining the story to. That was exposition 101.
Yeah.
And then, as a response to that, Lisa gives Homer $40 to go to therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's just another one of these things where it feels like they're setting something up, and then it's just so consequenceless.
Yeah, but even in that bit, there's a moment where Marge goes, I don't really know how to feel about this. Both boys are being helped. This is probably a good thing. Where's Maggie? I need to change it. Where's my little excuse? But then it cuts to Maggie, who's waiting to be changed. So she did need to be changed. It's not an excuse if you actually have to do it.
And she was looking at her watch. She was ready to be changed.
Yeah, it's just, again, this weird cutaway that does nothing for it.
But ultimately, did it feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
I mean,
they were in it.
Yeah, it's literally a plot line of The Simpsons that's been done before with different characters now. And I'm going to say no, there's just so many scenes that feel jammed with extra stuff for no reason. Not even jokes that were bad, just things that were there.
Yeah, this is one where I was really trying to analyze the Flanderization of it all, because I don't feel like he's the worst part of when people talk about the Flanderization.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just all these odd moments, like the fucking "I'll cut you up, Bart" moment, and then
I mean, because for all I'm okay, why is Ned taking Bart camping and all that? He's not really known as an outdoorsy guy, but okay, well, it's a wholesome activity to go fishing and start your own campfire, and okay, fair enough. Yeah,
and I thought that when he's oh, now you've caught a fish, you have to cook it, and we have to start a fire, and he's like, we have to do it with the old-fashioned way by rubbing sticks, and he starts one, and I'm like, and then he just puts it out and goes, your turn, and I thought that was going to be another reveal of darker side tough Ned, but then it wasn't.
No, and Bart's turn happened way too quickly as well, and again that he was doing better, and then it was just to no end. It was so he could walk in the
He ate
Christian
one
parade.
fish and suddenly he was singing in the choir.
Yeah, you know what? There is one extra bit of heart where when Bart does start the fire, he's like, what's this feeling? And Ned's like, well, that's accomplishment. You got that because you did that yourself or something. And it's just, okay, that's a moment. That's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, then suddenly Bart can sing, is in the choir.
Yeah.
Well, not according to Mel, who fucking broke his bone and shoved it in his
Yeah,
ears.
that was the other bit of whack I forgot about.
Yeah. They could have just gone with the dialogue on that and left the bone alone.
Yeah. Don't dox the box and leave the bone alone.
That's right. Keep those dogs on a leash. No, wait. Tighten up them dogs.
Yes or no? Would you watch this one again?
Hell no.
No, not really.
Nah, BT, what would you change?
A lot. I'd cut out all that extra weird crap that doesn't need to be there. A lot of streamlining and just give it a point. We've talked about a bunch of possibilities. If you want to have that weird Ned line in there, make it lead to something. There's so many things you could do with this, and it just does none of them. So there's so many just superfluous bits that are just hanging off this for no reason. So trim all that off, and you got at least a functioning episode.
How about you, Phil?
I'm really now infatuated with the idea of dark past history Ned. And maybe Bart, him trying to bring Bart into line reveals a little bit more of his darker alter side, and maybe Bart gets a little bit better, a little bit gooder, but Ned becomes a little bit more less one-dimensional, becomes a little bit more tough or dark. And then at the same time, I was really surprised that the Nelson and Homer thing wasn't fun.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't really do anything amazing. Like, you could see Homer says to Nelson, I'm going to mentor you to get back at Bart. And then has a realization, he's like, but then, I'm not really a successful person anyhow. And then Nelson could go, are you kidding? You've got 2 cars, 3 doors, 1 roof, and you can punch a stranger while drunk like nobody else. And then they could have like a wonderful misfit time where Nelson pulls himself up a little bit, but only as far as, say, Bart is. And Homer kind of like has a bit of a revelation of being the moderating circumstance of both those things. So I think there's still rich veins of story to have there, but they just didn't want it. I think they really, really liked the idea of a pride parade that was Christian.
Yeah.
And they made that, basically that was the hero of the third act.
Yeah. Oh man, that was just loaded with, like, normally we'd praise the sign writing jokes of the modern era. This was just so fucking tedious, I gotta say.
Yeah, they got a stand selling loaves and fishes.
I didn't actually read any of the signs.
One sign that said Jews for Jesus and then atheists for nothing.
Yep. I mean, one I kind of liked, one parade is just innocent priest.
Oh, right.
He's like, okay.
And it's one guy and he's
yeah,
throwing out
it's like,
rosary beads.
sure.
Yeah, but what would I change? Man, I'm just like kind of disappointed that Rod and Todd aren't factoring more into this episode. Also, this episode, like the last episode we reviewed, had like 2 extra acts at the end.
Yep.
This one had 3.
Yeah, thank God.
So yeah, Flanders ends up reaching out to Nelson and goes, oh yeah, I've lost 2 Mrs. Flanderses, maybe we can relate. And I was like, oh my God, why aren't you hitting on that fucking earlier? And also involving Rod and Todd in the story. Where are they when Flanders and Bart are out camping? And like they go, oh, we could help make a fight. No, Bart's got to do it himself. These are fucking easy gimmies. And I was also thinking about the idea that maybe either one or the other, Rod or Todd, was actually a bit troubled, and like this is why Ned is qualified to mentor Bart, because
he's done it before.
Yeah, and now that's the boy that he has today. And then you have a whole thing of Bart realizing he's turning into them, doesn't like it, blah blah blah.
Yeah, there's a lot there. There's that I don't know which religion has that saying, but it's like, give me the boy until he's 9 or something, and I'll give you the man. That kind of like, instill all the good into someone early, and that will carry them the rest of their life. Like, and I like that idea about Rod or Todd being a problem child until
until they
Ned got them back in line, and now he's a little bit qualified for this rather than just being the most Christian person on the show.
Yeah, it gives it a bit more than just, again, the Flanderization, just the distilling him down to that, like. But it doesn't, man. And fucking, as I was firing up the episode, I noticed Highway to Well, our highest ranked latest episode, was right next door to this one. And I was like, ooh, maybe that rubbed off on this one a bit.
Nope.
Not the case. It is time for our final notes. Phil, have you got some final notes?
I have 2 final notes that I found hilarious. One was when Bart's doing his homework at the Flanders' house, And Homer's like, I can help my boy with maths homework. Can't do the maths answer. Scrunches it up, goes, oh, the dog ate it. Pulls the dog from off screen, shoves it into his mouth. The dog, that was funny. The dog got up, smoothed it back out, put it on the table. Dumb. But then,
Also, Simpsons did it.
yeah, but then the best bit was Homer's like, I can see I'm not wanted here. I'm going to leave with the one thing I do have, my dignity, and turns around and the dog is like attached to his butt. I laughed at that. I thought that was quite funny because I wasn't expecting that dog to come back, especially in butt.
Yeah, I don't think we've reviewed the episode where Ned gets a dog yet.
Is it that dog? Or is it different?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, is it?
I was wondering where the hell it came from.
I literally just thought they pulled a dog out for the joke.
No, Ned gets a dog called Boz, and I think in the episode it likes Homer more, and Ned doesn't like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to look forward to that on the next Simpsons Index.
Yeah, I'll save that one for you.
And the other one was... I'm going to read my writing.
But yeah, there is a joke in a previous episode where Bart tries to get Santa's little helper to eat his homework, and he totally, smooths it out.
Right.
And it's... another Simpsons did it in this one.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
And then while Quimby's addressing the Christian Pride Parade, they're like, thanks for the sponsorship for this parade from Mr. Burns. And I think it's Lenny just yells out, why won't you die?
Yeah. Massive boos, yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
Classic.
And that was it. I don't know why Burns would sponsor a
Christian Pride Parade?
Parade?
No. Tax write-off or something? I don't know.
BT, any final notes?
Yeah, couple. Let's see. There's a stupid bit where, they're out camping, and I think it's when Bart gets the fire going, goes, hey, I did something. Ay caramba. And then it pans to a climber on a hill going, ay caramba, and he just falls off. And then there's that cuts back to Bart and Ned, but now the climber is way closer and we see him land. It's like, first of all, stupid, not even a joke. It's just a thing.
Yeah.
And then the perspective shift it's just weird. I don't know why they had that there. Big theme of this episode.
I don't know why they had that there.
Yeah. The bit where, Homer and Nelson show up and are riding bikes around. I just went, fuck, this is stupid.
Nelson already knew how to ride a bike, but I taught him how to make motorcycle noises.
Yeah.
That's when you go, brrr, and they exit screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
They
where the
stayed on
joke
screen
is.
for a very long time.
Yeah,
Riding around in circles.
30
Just,
seconds and then riding around in circles, making...
Good Lord.
I would have loved to see the script for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just BWWWWW.
So there's a bit where, at this Christian Pride Parade, Ned has that costume of that saint that was shot full of arrows. And then he's pulling them out, and one of them is real.
Yeah.
And he goes, uh-oh, and kind of collapses. Like, wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was going to be an element in the thing that he got accidentally shot. I wondered if I missed something or, yeah.
Yeah, if you didn't know that there's a saint that got tied to a tree and shot full of arrows, then that was just a baffling thing to have him walk on with all these arrows stuck into him.
I didn't know that. I just thought it was some kind of BDSM thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He may have started out not wanting to be shot with arrows and got into it as it went. I don't know. He might be the patron saint of kink. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's into BDSM, believing...
Some...
D.
Miracles.
Believing does
Deities?
start miracles.
Ah, there we go.
There we go. Yeah, see? Easy. Everyone out there, BDSM. And then there's the final note of this episode, which was the bullies were like, oh, so you're really into this whole life? And Nelson's like, hey, I haven't given up the bully way. Opens up the freezer, and there's Milhouse shoved in there, and Nelson goes, Thor, and I just... Ooh.
Well, that was only 2 of the endings because, before that, that's when Ned reaches out to him and they go, the end. No, wait, we're short. And I hate this. It's just pointing out, we couldn't be bothered fleshing out this episode anymore.
Yeah, that had so many places it could have gone.
Yeah, so then we get those 2 scenes and then we get an extra scene of Homer and Bart at the baseball. Why did we swap seats with Ned? So we could do this. And then they throw something at Ned, and that's the fucking out for the episode.
Yeah, and
Why did he say swap seats?
Again,
I thought he said, why did I swap you for Ned?
Yeah, he does.
Oh,
does he?
okay.
Oh, right.
And he says, so you can throw peanuts at Ned. That guy you like. It's like...
The other, if Homer can throw a peanut across a baseball stadium, he should be on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Another job for him to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my final notes... Dr. Hibbert has a fucking morbid line. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
I only thought that Bart would be singing like an angel if there was a down power line at the water park.
Yeah, that was pretty intense.
Yeah. Homer declares that him and Nelson are now known as Homeson. And that's my notes. It's time to rank this thing. I'm failing it. I feel like maybe if I didn't have the other episode next to it, that maybe this would be a participant on its own, but I'm really disappointed by this one in a lot of ways, and like, especially compared to the last one where it was like, jokes clunked, but there was more actively awful moments in this one. And like, again, we're retreading familiar ground, but just to not live up to any of the potential. And yeah, it's that disappointing. BT.
Look, I feel quite happy in this ranking and I get to limber up a little bit and kick something deep into the pit of failure, because the last one was an assembly line and it was fine and passable. This one is just stupid.
Yeah.
Like, that's my best word for it. There's so many parts that are just here for nothing. And again, would not be surprised to find out this was a dare in the writer's room, where if someone passes you a note, you have to work that into a scene. Because there are so many bits that are just bafflingly added.
Al Jane gives you the story, you've got to make it into the teleplay.
Yeah, it's like, even if it was boring, at least that would be somewhat more passable, but it's just stupid, and I hate it.
Bill?
Yeah. I don't think I hate it enough to fail it. Like, it didn't enrage the pitchforking community within my heart.
They're all just
to
sitting
make
around,
me care. It's more,
still at
it's
the
more like,
hoedown.
yeah, it's like the opposite of love is apathy. It's kind of like, it's just like, to second what BT said, there's a point that you miss some opportunities with stories that you could have fleshed out, but to
making sure he's got his Pikmin pen.
Yeah. But to like, with the Flanders thread of making that blood real, why put that in there at all if you're not going to do anything with it? Like, there's just so many bits where it doesn't make any sense. And I'm trying to think of a reason why it would be in there if not for a dare from Gary.
My only other guess is it was a different version of the script where they left that line in and they forgot to cut it.
Yeah.
Like, that's my best guess, but you
no.
think you would get that during the production of, that's not supposed to be
or
there.
like, someone watches these before they get delivered. At least 12 people watch it before it gets delivered.
You'd think.
You'd hope so, but yeah, there's just something so choppy and unprofessional about this
Yeah,
one.
I think I'm still going to participate in it, though. I'm not enraged with how terrible it is. I'm bored with its efforts.
Well, there we go. One unanimous participant and a shiny failure. What another successful episode of The Simpsons.
I've really got to stop coming to this thing.
Man, law of averages. Apparently The Simpsons are back now, so hopefully we can find you an episode you like. Oh, actually, I did forget to ask you at the top of the show. Have you been keeping... Sorry?
We so often forget to ask.
Yes. You're one of the rare guests that actually last time I did ask had been keeping up with the show and had watched a few newer episodes. Have you been watching any other episodes in the...
I don't remember the last time I was here, but I think I haven't seen any since then.
Yeah.
Or if I have, I don't remember. So probably not. I don't think so. I have watched a couple every now and then. And I've seen like 2 really bad ones and 1 really good one, but I can't remember what the good one is. But it's in season 30. Is that 36 current now? Or is that
35's current.
I can tell you the bad one's about the traffic controlling.
Yep.
And I can't remember.
We hated that one. And yeah, one of the 35s we reviewed with you was the documentary style one with the Mr. Burns and that
the Netflix
lady that
doco.
doesn't blink. Yeah.
That was not great. I don't think I've seen this one before, but I definitely have seen Nelson's mum with a corkboard full of headshots in reference to Dat. So maybe I have seen this one, but I was either too sleepy or too drunk to remember almost all of it.
Yeah, we've recently been throwing around the phrase Teflon episodes, but I've been thinking about that because, we called it that because it slips right out of your memory once we're done with it. But also, Teflon's been in the news lately because it leaves shit in you. So but I still think it's apt because it just does leave a little just tiny micro
tiny
fucking
smidge
shit.
of. I think I saw that one.
You're telling me there's tiny micro particles of The Simpsons in my penis now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doing you harm.
It's not doing any good, that's for sure. Get out of there, Simpsons.
All right. Well, that about does it for the Simpsons Index for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Phil.
Pleasure as always. It's good to be in the gripe cave.
Yep. Is that what we're calling it now?
Yes.
Have you got anything to plug?
We are working on season 2 of Small Minds, or Big Questions from Small Minds, our science for kids based podcast where we take questions from children and apply them to leading professors who are at the top of their field, volcanologists, space explorators, not a word.
Okay, you aren't one. It's fine.
Dinosaur experts, people who design space astronaut suits for NASA.
Cool.
All those and more, because I can't remember them, will be coming up in season 2 at some point when we finish editing them.
Yeah, I can't wait. I really want to hear the episode with the poo scientist. What's her professional title?
I'm pretty sure it's poop scientist.
Yeah. But yeah, because...
Ecologist or something?
Yeah, poopologist.
Because, yeah, Phil and Tom record the podcast over here, so I've met a lot of these people, and yeah, the poo scientist, she was an absolute crack up. She was so funny.
You'd have to be. I have to assume also that was the one scientist you didn't ask a fart question to.
You would be very wrong. I know. Very, very. We were, not to be too disgusting, in our element.
Rebranding, it's just we ask a poo scientist, the podcast.
Yeah, I think that will probably be the Facebook byline when we get to that episode.
Wonderful.
But no, this season we're doing a trip through the body. We start at the sense of smell and taste, and we go into the mouth and down into the guts, and then we end up out the poop.
Yep, that's neat. I like that.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a series we're putting together.
Didn't want to finish off with a podiatrist? Does your sister want a podcast, or?
Yeah, I don't know. Feet don't fart, so I don't know how we'd ask them any questions.
They do stink.
They do smell. So
Yeah,
maybe
but that's-
they do fart, and that's why they smell.
Intriguing. Tell me more, doctor.
Only a doctor on weekends.
I only ask questions on weekends.
Oh, perfect.
BT, what are we up to?
They can go too, but you didn't say that. We are up to Patreon. No, it doesn't work like that. We are up to
What if people want to check out more of us?
Well-
Hey guys, can you tell me about this Patreon thing?
You can go to patreon.com/SideQuestStudios, where as little as $5 a month, you can get access to over like 180 podcasts. There's all kind of cool things you can check out there, where Elliot and I review the special features on the Simpsons DVD box sets. We had a really interesting deep dive into what, when they built the Simpsons house and gave that away as a prize, what then happened to that house? It is a ride. It was interesting.
It was literally one of my favorite podcasts we've ever made.
Yeah. We've made a lot, people.
But yeah, if you do go to patreon.com/SideQuestStudios as well, you can get little previews of the episodes. You get about a minute or two of a taster.
Yeah,
So
see if it's for you.
Yeah, and it is.
Yeah.
You definitely want to sign up.
Yeah, you can also listen to something like Story of the Chalk, where we kind of speculate on what kind of events led to the chalkboard gag. What kind of trouble did little Buddy Boy get into what's the hidden episode? And we kind of improv on that a little bit. And, of course, starring Springfield, as Elliot alluded to earlier, where you can recommend a movie to us that stars a cast of The Simpsons, and we will review it, even if it has Adam Sandler in it. And there's another perk, whatever you call yourself on Patreon, we have to read that out. So if you want to call yourself Climbing My Ass Hatch Son, we're going to say that every week.
And we will thank you and do a weird impression of it.
I wonder if I can change my Patreon name.
I don't know.
You absolutely can.
Oh, excellent. Well, you'll never know who I'll be tomorrow.
You'll be the one with the changed name.
You've opened that door now.
Yeah. But yeah, starring Springfield, our flagship show, we absolutely love doing it. And we even get to make suggestions sometimes. And I just made BT watch The Chaperone, which is a movie starring Yardley Smith and Triple H, the wrestler. And it was somehow our longest episode of that show.
Did all the shots in that wide shots? Because how the fuck do you get both those people into frame?
Yeah, tough.
He is such a big man.
As Elliot pointed out, there's an interesting point. We have Triple H, Yardley Smith, and Ariel Winter from Modern Family in one shot. It's these people are all in different crossroads of their career.
Yeah. It was a really fun time. Go check that out. Patreon.com/SideQuestStudios. But for now, that's it for us. Yeah. Thank you very much again, Phil.
A pleasure as always.
And thank you, BT.
If you hated Better Off Ned, go watch Better Off Ted. That was a good show.
Oh my God, Better Off Ted. So good.
Yeah.
And that's me, Elliot Jay O'Neill, and that's all the mustard in the house.
Thank you for listening to the Simpsons Index podcast, which is also an online spreadsheet available at thesimpsonsindex.com. You can also check out our other shows, like Pulp Fury Radio, our scripted fiction podcast, which tells all original stories across a range of pulp genres, and Thrones of Game, where we review Game of Thrones in reverse order. Links to those podcasts and more will be available in the show notes. And now please stay tuned for the bonus scenes!
No, I'm the bottom.
What about...
Yeah, that looks better.
Yeah.
Aha. Oh, there you go. The old, nothing changed, but the problem was fixed.
Yep.
Fixed.
Classic. You know what they say, if it's broke, don't fix it.
Just turn it off and on again.
One day I want to invent an old saying.
We're all trying, but it's tough.
Oh, it's tougher than stale bread. It'll catch on.
Tougher than stale bread. Yeah, I mean, stale bread's pretty tough. Not the toughest in the world. It's still something that's like mid-range difficult.
Yeah, like elven bread.
Love you're
stale
really
elven bread.
trying to break bread with your teeth, though.
Yeah, true.
Not like you're nailing it into a door frame like you would a nail. It's also tough, famously. Anyway,
You know what? We've got.
I like the attempt.
We've got tighten up them dogs. It hasn't taken off, but we use it.
I can't even remember if that was us or if that was from a Simpsons episode that
It was a Simpsons episode where it's when Homer's a referee, and there's the announcer that says, it's tighter than two dogs on a summer's morn. And I swear it's supposed to be closer than two dogs on a summer's morn to imply they're fucking.
Oh, right.
But they say tighter, and it's like, that's not what it's. So tighten up them dogs has become the expression ever since.
And,
There we go.
And what does that mean?
It means just, fix the, fix little problems.
Okay.
Smooth things over a little bit. Tighten
I
up
can
them
roll that.
dogs.
I can roll
It's
that.
also, a bit of cut the chaff and...
Yeah, exactly. Like refine, really.
And
Yeah.
it sounds like it comes from the country, so you can get away with it.
Yeah.
You gotta tighten up them there dogs.
Yeah.
Jolene, tighten up them dogs.
That was the original lyric, and then Harden changed it.
Yeah, that was draft one from the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It might have more universal appeal if it was about a relationship.
Not about an episode
I'll
of
get that
Simpsons.
dog song done one day, Dolly.
Imagine coming around to Elliot's place and he serves you a plate of mushrooms. I grew them in my shower.
Yeah, maybe not.
Like the worst version of that Seinfeld episode, yeah. It's, my version of farm to table. It's bathroom to table.
Bathroom to kitchen.
So organic and fresh. Yeah, you show up to the Marrickville Farmers Market.
Yeah.
Bum mushrooms. I did watch an episode of Clarkson's Farm where he starts growing mushrooms, and someone explains to him like that they're a whole different kingdom, and they're not really sure where they come from, and the part of the mushroom that you eat is the reproductive organ, and there's a possibility that they came from an asteroid, so they might be space, and so he markets them at his farm shop as space penises.
I mean, yeah, they kind of resemble.
It's flawless logic.
Yeah. Well, yes.
I haven't watched it, but I did see a clip where he was loading a coffee machine with beans, but he just totally left the lid on the coffee machine and just a shitload of beans spilt everywhere. And he's just like got the fucking most dumbass looking face on as the crew are like trying not to laugh because
I do
this
quite
guy
like-
might hit them.
I've seen I think the latest season is the third one. I really quite like it because it's like, it makes you really like appreciate farmers and then also go, oh, maybe I could do, oh no, this is way too much work.
Yeah. Even going down to the farmer's market's a bit too much for me.
Yeah.